So in this episode, I'll be showing you how to flush the coolant from your car the quick and simple method. So the first thing to do is to drain the coolant from the system, so let's open the radiator cap for a better flow. At the bottom of most radiators you will have a petcock, which will need to be removed to drain the old coolant. Or you can remove the bottom radiator hose. Now, before you put the petcock back in, it is a good idea to replace the O-ring to avoid any future leaks. So after the coolant is drained, the overflow tank should be drained as well. I'm using a silicone WD-40 for an easier removal of the tank hoses. If the hose is giving you trouble, use some pliers to gently twist the hose to loosen it up. It is a good idea to try to remove the overflow tank. Here on the Misty Lady it just pops out like so, and drain its contents. Now we flush the tank a couple of times with hose water, and then we take a bucket, dish soap and a brush so you can really clean the inside thoroughly. After you're done cleaning, reinstall the tank back to the car and connect it to the radiator. I put some cable ties to secure the little pipes in their positions better. Now in order to do a good clean of the cooling system, I'm going to pour in a bottle of this STP radiator cleaner, which will help dissolve majority of the contaminants such as dirt, corrosion and other things from the previous coolant. And then fill the radiator with distilled water and run the car for 10 to 20 minutes with the heat turned all the way up, so the cleaner can travel throughout the whole system and then drain it. Another way is to leave it and dry for a few days so the cleaner can really get to all the parts of the cooling system. But this is up to you. So in my case I have driven the car for a whole week. And by looking at the color of the distilled water, we can definitely tell that the cleaner has done a good job removing the dirt deposits and other contaminants from the engine block and radiator. Now we must flush the system a couple of more times to make sure we get most of the cleaner and the dirty coolant out. You can use regular hose water for this. So in short, flush the system, fill it with water, start the engine for 10 to 15 minutes until the car reaches operating temperature so the thermostat opens, and then flush the system again. And after the 4th and 5th time, the water should be very close to clear. You're not going to get 100% clear water from the last flush unless you clean the system fully and remove the things such as thermostat, radiator, etc. But that's for another video. Make sure to dispose of the old coolant properly in a recycling center, as the coolant is toxic and harmful for the environment. So now that the cooling system is mostly clean, we're going to prepare the new coolant. Check your owner's manual or online which coolant is the most suitable for your vehicle. Here I'm doing a 50-50 mixture of coolant and distilled water, and I'm using Valveol Protective 112. Some coolants come already pre-mixed, but the choice is yours. When it comes to mixing, at the back of the coolant bottle it should say how many parts of coolant to distilled water should be mixed. The bigger the amount of coolant concentrate, the lower the freezing point of the fluid. But unless you live in Siberia or somewhere where temperature reaches minus 40 degrees Celsius, then 50-50 or less should do the trick. Pour the new coolant into the radiator and fill it to the brim. Then start the engine so the water pump can circulate it through the system. Squeeze the main radiator hose to help the air bubbles escape. And of course do not forget to refill the reservoir. Now after everything is filled to the correct level and properly closed and sealed, go for a drive and keep an eye on the temperature gauge. If the temperature is stable, then you have successfully replaced the coolant in your car. Now let's have a look at the old fluids. Here's what was inside the car first. Then after a week of driving with distilled water and STP radiator cleaner, and finally the current coolant. And there we go. Now you know how to improve the cooling and drivability of your car in just few steps. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed the video. The next episode is going to be part 2 of the project Morningstar, so stay tuned. But for now, take care and I'll see you in the next video.